Oh yeah, that is definitely true. The randomizer accounting for some color blindness, as well as, of course, adding flair and swag to your own game is very important. I wonder if it
I
is
mean, yeah. I mean, what is a game if not for the swag? You know.
exactly. And with that, we are going to be on the way. And well, we don't have to do anything actually. Our uncle's going to take care of Ganon apparently.
I mean, sure. I hope he doesn't run into any problems. You know, like dying before there's ever any enemies. That would just be really embarrassing for the uncle.
I mean, yeah, that would be not a very great example for a young hero. Well, I would say Link, but neither of our players are actually Link due to utilization of over 100 custom sprites. Shoutouts to all of the sprite developers putting amazing sprites together.
Absolutely. And let's see what kind of weapon we're going to have early from Uncle. It is the Cane of Samaria.
That's gotta be Kane. I know.
I mean,
that's
that's not a bad Ryu impression. Let me see if I can. Hang on, I feel necessary. Match yours. that's gotta be Kane.
Ooh, powerful.
Yeah, you gotta come from the diaphragm there in order to do that. Shout out to Phantom Ryu for that. In the meanwhile, Smight did get a bomb drop, so he will not have to farm anymore.
Ooh, that is very nice indeed. Now, for any new people joining us on this very exciting game, getting bombs early during the escape sequence does allow our runners to check 3 additional chests in the last part of the escape sequence, which is everyone in the stream to get at least 1 bomb, so that they don't have to come back here at a later time. Because efficiency is key.
1 bomb is nice. More is better, just so you can make your way through Kakariko without having to buy bombs first. 300 rupees, though, they'll certainly be able to buy bombs if they want to.
That is true. A pack of 10 will cost you 50 rupees. And if estragon doesn't end up getting a bomb, that might be his course of action for Kakariko. Of course, we still have a lot of escape sequence to go before that is going to come up, but both runners making their way through the castle's dungeon.
Now, one of the big weaknesses, I think, as you're going through this particular... bombs.
Oh, well, okay. Hi. Did you know you can place a bomb with Y and then pick it up with A?
I mean, I did not know that. You know, that might be why I have such a bad record here.
I mean, there's a reason I'm commentating and not playing, everyone.
It's true. Me too. But I was going to say, one of the weaknesses of the Cane of Samaria, while it's a nice weapon and certainly great to help you out with what you can do throughout the entire game, doesn't do a whole lot of damage and does limit you in terms of your magic capacity for an early weapon. So finding early bombs with the cane and preventing that farming really helps this whole escape sequence go a lot faster than originally intended.
Yeah, and of course, besides the point that you're not supposed to have Cane of Samaria until dungeon number 5 within the vanilla game's logic.
Yeah, it's a great late game item and can give you some direction in terms of where to go in the late game. Right now, though, the problem with the Cane of Samaria is that the only thing this could possibly point to is early dips into Mire and Turtle Rock, which we don't necessarily want to have to do. But at the moment, they're going to be really looking for those key items to get to the Dark World, maybe a bow or lamp, something to point to the direction of where the next progression is. A lot of the world's still locked off to us, and it's still locked off. The cane doesn't really help us.
Yeah, as you mentioned, cane only really coming into play in the later part of anything in particular, as most uses of the cane are blocked behind first of all Dark World, which on its own requires 3 unique items in terms of Moon Pearl, 1 glove upgrade, and then either another glove upgrade or the hammer. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have yet to even rescue the princess. But both runners are making excellent headway into the sewer. Both having more than enough bombs, so there's not going to be a disadvantage to RNG in the price pack.
And there's our key. I don't think we've seen the map yet, have we?
I believe it was in Zelda's chest.
Oh, well, even better.
You know, in case she wanted to escape. She needs to know the way after all. Oh, Smight unfortunately missing the snipe on the key route. One of the more trolly enemies in the sewer sequence. As rats are purely RNG as to where they go.
Yeah, they always start there on the left side, but where they go after that is kind of anyone's guess. Smight able to go ahead and get that, and we're gonna have more 300 rupees, more rupees, more rupees.
Oh my god.
So behind the bombable wall is the wonderful 1990s rom-com Jerry Maguire.
The Las Vegas quick trip.
I was gonna say, "Show me the money," but I find that most people don't actually get that joke anymore. So it's...
I'm gonna have to disappoint you, mate. I don't either.
You youngins, come on!
But I laugh with you all the same as we find another red rupee in the sanctuary. Might this seed be pointing towards the Zora play?
I mean, that makes sense if you think about it logically. However, that isn't necessarily the case. Zora, as long as it's open accessible, the game presumes you have enough money because you can farm up enough, which can make for horrible options later in the game if that's your only option and you do not have it.
Yeah, farming for rupees is never ideal. Although both runners opting to forego the lumberjack cave check, opting instead to go directly for the lost roots items.
And that's going to play in the back of my mind, especially if we get an early boots or we have an ag of required seed. Still really no direction so far to this, so we don't know if that's going to point in that direction. But if it does, man, that's going to just mess with the back of my head.
Yeah, definitely an interesting choice. Knowledge is power within the randomizer. Knowing as much as you can be a very helpful tool in terms of routing. Because if you know that there's something required on the lumberjack cave, then you know that you're going to find Aghanim access pretty soon.
But as with any randomizer, it's not necessarily the plays that you make, it's the plays that your opponent doesn't make. So the fact that neither of these runners actually went and checked that lumberjack ledge, if something is there, it's not going to necessarily harm these runners because neither of them went up to do that check. So there's no knowledge opportunity cost between the two. Smight does end up finding our first sword in the basement of Blind's hut, though.
That's kind of required. That bomb upgrade is not, though. So far, Kakariko holding our first real unlimited source of damage in terms of the fighter sword. But of course, we still have quite a handful of chests left to check. As both runners are going to make a strikingly similar routing through this village, as is standard in the current meta. So it might be a couple more minutes before we see any divergence, but...
Okay. That's handy to get while you're still in... And a bottle!
Oh my... Well, okay.
Okay, we got some direction so far. Not a lot of direction, but at least we can do a couple more checks while we're here in Kakariko. Go ahead, check Sick Kid, check the bottle vendor, and yeah, let's the dodo will be a go-go here soon.
I haven't actually heard that one before. That one's good.
I just heard it the other night. I saw it and I had to steal it.
Well, it's not copyrighted, I guess. Either way, laws aside, Smight getting the getting the duck activated. As we do get a map check, special crystal in Eastern, pendant at Hera, and a regular crystal at Desert. As Estragon will make the pheasant present.
I mean, it's so nice to be able to go ahead and do this. Both Sick Kid and our wonderful flute already activated. No real direction yet, but we start having some hints. The flute will be nice because that is our access up to Death Mountain, at least the Spectacle Rock area. We'd like to see at least the mirror, or even better, the hook shot in order to get us over to that east side of Death Mountain.
Yeah, definitely a valid option for our runners to go, although they might want to hold off until they indeed get one of those extra items in terms of mirror or the hookshot, as you mentioned. But with that, both runners actually went down to buy up themselves some extra bombs. Smight is the first one out of Kakariko. Going to be checking the library, see if the boots are going to be required for this seed. And not yet. Ooh, Ether Medallion.
Yeah, Smight says, I should get that, just in case.
Bird Dodge. That's exciting. The hitbox of the bird is actually deceptionally large.
Yeah, I mean, he can kind of scoop you out from a lot of different things. So dodging that bird, I think we've all done it accidentally, but to do it on purpose, you have to intentionally do it.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, both the runners going to go ahead and acquire this medallion. Nope. Smite's trying to use it. Of course, we don't know whether or not it is going to be required for either Maya or Turtle Rock. But we do get some nice immediate use of the flutes. Getting our way over to the dam area and Southern Shore by extend.
Still pretty standard routing for both of these guys. I'm really curious when we're going to see our first route divergence. We might have it in terms of someone going up and doing an early Death Mountain check, although we still don't have a ton of direction in this seed yet. And I think if you're these runners, the last thing you want to run into right now is probably either the cape or the lamp, because that could start pointing us into an Aga required seed for our Dark World access. We still have no items in order to get us into the Dark World.
That is true. And we are running out of locations as we get to see the beat up in action against these mini Mulderms. Unfortunately, the bee won't fetch you any items. As we find half magic. That's exciting.
I mean, it's nice. And there's there's the hammer.
Nice. Oh.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a solid increase in damage output, going from level 1 damage to level 3 immediately. Of course, hitbox not as desirable as a sword, but I doubt that either of these runners are going to have any trouble using the hammer.
Nah, both these guys will be fine. That was a reasonably hype cave. You get another bottle, you get a full heart container, but half magic and hammer are both there. That's quite nice for both these runners.
That is very true indeed. Smight does decide to go ahead and check off the Ice Rod Cave early. Definitely not a bad idea. If there is something in this Ice Rod Cave and you put it off for too long, that might come back to you to bite you. Looks like Estragon is going to make the same decision for a blue goo.
That's 3 bottles already. We are sub 15 minutes and we already have 3 out of the 4 bottles. You'd think that would point to something in Sick Kid, but he had nothing.
Yeah, the game just wanted to make sure that you had at least 1 bottle.
It's like, you need to get these 50 rupees, man.
They're special rupees. They're gilded rupees. Economics aside, Smight making his way to the Eastern Palace compound. We're paying a visit to our old friend Sahasrara.
Well, it is the most dense location that we can get to. 3 treasure chests here, a total of 3 treasures total in Eastern Palace if they decide to dip. Estragon is making a low percent play over here, checking, but might have found something. Mirror is very nice.
Oh, Estragon closely behind. That is an amazing find. Smight is going to take that mirror and go straight up Death Mountain instead of checking Eastern Palace.
It's the logical play to make. We do know from our map check that Tower of Hera is going to be one of our crystals that are required, and he's reading what the seed is giving him right now. We got the flute to logically get up Death Mountain. We have the mirror to logically access the top of Spectacle Rock, and also the items that are in Tower of Hera. I believe there's 2 total. So right now he's reading it. Here's the issue. We're hoping Tower of Hera is not fire locked, because we have neither a fire rod or the lamp to really get to anything in case our progression is in the basement.
That is very true. We might still be unable to complete Tower of Hera. Estragon taking a pause to make sure that he's going to make the right decision. But again, with that hammer, our runners also have access to the eastern part of Death Mountain after they're done in Hera. And it does look like Estragon is going to follow suit after Smight going to rescue the old man, which as of now is still a sequence break. Although none of our runners has any trouble with dark rooms, it seems.
No, and forward one, I would expect both these runners to be well versed in the easy dark rooms. In fact, I would imagine even the intermediate dark rooms, for example, in Palace of Darkness, would be relatively easy. The only thing I would really question is if they didn't know Aga dark rooms, or, for example, the Misery Mire dark rooms, which are considered the most difficult in the game, kind of universally. But we do see Smight putting that mirror to work and going over here. So here's to hoping it's not fire rod locked. Otherwise, this both of our runners end up being debated. Estragon avoiding, and there's the small key to start with.
This is a dangerous situation now. There has to be a big key in this next chest, otherwise Smight cannot continue. Ooh, gets bailed out in the end. Now, it is still possible that one of the 2 items is hiding in that basement. Ooh. Smight swiftly takes care of these hard hat beetles. Definitely taking a bit of knockback, but thankfully does not take any damage.
All right, so Smight hoping we still have 2 items, but we still have 2 dungeon items as well. So 4 treasure locations. There's a map. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Turtle Rock Pendant. Maya Green Pendant. Palace of Darkness, other special crystal. I believe that was. Let me recheck that. Yes, that is correct. Well, that does mean that we're going to find Ice Rod and Fire Rod soon. Because Boots on Trinex.
Oh no, there's our first item there in the Tower of Hera big treasure chest. It was just a piece of heart. So we're coming down. We have 1 dungeon item, the compass, and we have the other item that could lead to progression. If this is the compass on Moldorm here, our progression is not up on Death Mountain. It's got to be down where Estragon already thought about visiting there in Agina's cave.
Ooh, Smight making excellent use of his hammer. Gets into the last phase of Mulder.
Poked it.
Careful. Oof.
Man, that was close. All right, Smight. Here's. Did you read the seed? No, he didn't read it!
Hera is fire locked.
Hera's fire locked, and it looks like that's our pendant. That maybe Desert Palace is the crystal and Tower of Hera was the pendant. Maybe a little bit of mix up there.
Yeah, we're good at our jobs.
Hey, those were quick map checks. So I mean,
Yeah,
all credit to everything.
Although it does look like Smight is going to make use of the hammer, as I predicted, to get the plethora of items on the right side of Death Mountain.
I mean, okay, that's true. I had forgotten that we have access to this side of Death Mountain. So yes, 8 items over here.
Actually get Resident Sleeper Cave, everybody. Take your time and make yourself a cup of coffee.
I might, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna go make a sandwich. Do you think I'll be able to get done before Might's done here?
Ooh, if you do, would you mind making a second one?
Well, okay, sure. In the meantime, there it is.
Glove! There is our progression. That is part number 2 to the 3-part Dark World access, only requiring, well, the most important item, the Moon Pearl. As Estragon unfortunately fell due to Moldome, so officially elevated to Trolldome status. Goes in for round number 2. Hopefully he'll be able to finish this off. Ooh, careful.
Gotta be careful. 7 more treasures over here. Smight. If I'm Smight, I do not want to find the lamp right now. Ice Rod.
Oh, the Ice Rod.
I mean, yeah, I don't really want to find the Ice Rod either, but
Ooh.
with Turtle Rock being a pendant, oh god.
That Laser Bridge dream is still alive, although we still have quite a lot of items to go before you can even come close to unlocking that.
Oh,
Did you find the Book of Medora?
Oh god, no.
Oh, this... Blue Mill's nice.
No, come on! Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, it looks like Desert is going to be the next stop for these runners. Wow, this seed's been fairly linear for the first 20 minutes so far, giving them little breadcrumbs.
Well, and linear seeds, I think, are play to the advantage of runners who have better execution. The fewer guesses you have to make, and the more you go, okay, well, I have to go here, and then I have to go here, and then I have to go here. That plays into the execution runner strategy, and the fewer gambles you have to make. So I think Smite's going to be a little bit okay with this.
Yeah, very true. Linear seeds do favor execution-heavy players. Although, akin to being randomized, there is still a small element of luck involved to where items are located. We'll just have to wait and see as Estragon is going to make the unfortunate track for the book only and the metal upgrade. That's also nice to have.
So here's the other thing. Now that Smight is off Death Mountain, if he does find the lamp, we could still have our progression down there in horrible Tower of Hera basement, but come to find out, it's Bootslog Desert.
That is interesting. So that means that Eastern Palace was to play all along.
He didn't check. Smite didn't check Agina's cave though.
Oh yeah, that is true. Although he might try to combo that with the actual completion of Desert Palace. Although that just has to be seen as we do get to see the Eastern Palace. Both Estragon and Smight did decide to leave immediately after getting the mirror from Sahasrara. But of course, the perpetrator always goes back to the very first dungeon of the game.
Well, I'm just worried what will happen if, say, for example, the book or the boots, if they're in Agina's cave, then you can go ahead and clear out desert. And if you get your fire source right there, hey, you can go ahead and do that right there. I mean, this is an item location that was right there, and I hope for Smite's sake that doesn't end up burning him a little bit later.
Oh,
and there's our fire source.
Oh no. Oh man, we could not make this up even if we tried. Wow.
So, okay, now the very last thing you want to find is either a sword or
The
your
cape.
cape.
Oh my, this is... We could get a classic moon pearl on the pyramid in this seed still. I haven't seen that one in a while.
There's our second item in Eastern Palace. So we have no lumberjack ledge check. Remember, both of these runners bypassed it. We have the lamp. We have one sword. We are a moon pearl away from Dark World access. Coincidentally enough, we now have the lamp. The second item for Tower of Hera is fire locked, and both the runners went up there so far. So it's been linear only because it seemed linear to us, but if you dove Eastern early, you might have a pretty significant edge, because I'm sure Smight is thinking, great, now I have to climb back up all the way and get... Because I think, absolutely, you go and check Hera Basement before you commit to an Aga dive.
Yeah, that is very true. Although if he doesn't find anything, we are postponing that that discovery. Going to pay visit to the big chest first, but like the most evil this seed could do is like cape in Hera Basement to then go back again and actually do Agon entire.
And just bombs right now for Smight. So all three items in Eastern have been gotten. He is likely going up. And I think Estragon also avoided Agina. What are you... I am frustrated with these two right now.
Dude, you already have it. Oh, wait, this might not... Oh, he might be checking. Yeah.
Agina, yeah. Why do they name the two Aghanim and Agina? Like, come on, guys. Nintendo, clearly you didn't know what you were doing back in the early 90s.
Well,
so he's checking this.
This one's that person cave. That, like, farts in his own cave. I mean, he told me. I didn't experience this firsthand, though. Oh
no! Guess what? We're going back to Tower of Hera Basement.
Wow. Now, you do gotta wonder: do either of these runners feel that they've made the very worst decision and might already be feeling behind? Because it could have been very much more efficient. Oh. Actually, forget about Hera. We still have yet to check the entirety of the fake flipper sequence. Of course, it is out of sequence, as the name suggests. But a very valid way.
Not sure what I feel about this particular sequence. It is absolutely a sequence break. Oh, but Zora is in logic.
Oh yes, that is true. We do have Hammer and the Power Glove. So we do have access via land. Of course, Smight opting for the faster route. So we get to see that the bow is on the Zora ledge. Flippers are going to be required. Perhaps vanilla flippers are in order.
Come on, no flippers, no flippers, no whammy, no whammy. Actually, all the whammies. I want this to be a whammy. I want him to have to climb up to Tower of Hera again because I'm evil and I'm on chat side.
I'm gonna be with Smight and go for the unrandomized. It's neither.
Yes!
This shield.
Okay, Smight, buddy. Smight, we gotta talk, buddy. You just spent 500 rupees. Pick up your shield.
No. This is so horrible. Commentator's curse, or commentator's blessing, depending on whose side you're picking.
I was going to say, chat, I'm on your side here. I'm all for your entertainment at this point in time.
Oh, Estragon finding out that Eastern Palace is a dead lead. Does choose to go to Hera before Zora, so we'll be catching up a little bit.
Yeah, this is going to be tight right here. And, I mean, you knew it. As soon as they came in here, they knew they left one item here in the basement. So the idea that you had to... They're both doing the double dip, and I'm sure they both feel behind right now. So they're kind of hedging their bets. So like, oh, I made a bad bet and to not do Eastern first and came back, so I have to make this play. What are we going to find here? What do you think we should find here?
The Master Sword, and then one of our runners will think the worst and go to Aghanim. The other one will check Ether Tablets. But both,
that would be amazing.
But both locations do have something of value. But we'll just have to see what it is going to be, as Smight is not opting to go for the coffee break. Instead going to poke a little fun at these tiles. Literally. As we are painting a cute little picture of a death skull. Moment of truth.
What is our progression here?
I mean, it's got to be something.
Yeah, it's got to be something. I mean, it can't be nothing. It could be Moon Pearl.
Pearl!
Okay.
There we go. Dark World access achieved.
So, French Vanilla Moon Pearl in the basement of Tower of Hera. Smight is reminded, he's like, hey, maybe I should go ahead and check this while I'm up here because reasons.
I mean, he doesn't want to go up a third time for this. Just cash. And moving along we shall. Estragon going to find out the good news that his lunar orb is located here. Smight is going directly into Hype Cave.
Oh boy, get your guesses in chat. What are we going to see? Is it going to be a hype cave? Is it going to be a dead cave? Is it going to be a love cave? Is it going to be... What's it going to be? Let's get your guesses here. What are we hoping for, Stan?
Just everything. Boots, silvers, hookshot, flippers, fire rod. Can you imagine?
The hypest of hype is what you're hoping for, is what I'm hearing you say.
I want a black hole to open up in this... Okay, maybe not. Let's not get quantum physics involved. As we do get the red meringue.
Red meringue. Yeah, that's hype.
Red rupee. A mushroom. That's a bit of sanctuary heart. Not two sanctuary hearts. Two full hearts.
This is Cave of Love.
6.5. Just because of sanctuary and the red boomerang, of course.
I said stop in the cave of love. That's not how that song goes, but it should be.
It's the ALTTPR adaptation. Copyright Videsha 2018. I almost forgot what year it was. God. Oh, Smight getting the flippers.
Hey, that's absolutely hype, especially knowing where the bow is.
Oh, that is an amazing find. Now, when Estragon is going there, he has not been to Zora yet, so he doesn't know that the bow's on top of there. Does get the red mail though from the chess game. Definitely a welcome upgrade, as our runners at most have, what, 9-10 hearts?
Yeah, it's been pretty healthy up to this point in time.
I mean,
plus red mail and
those 2 extra hard containers in Hype did help a lot. As we get Estragon checking out the rest of the Village of Outcasts. Smight, meanwhile, Alec Baldwin's digging game. Get your guesses in between 1 and 30 digs for the special item. 10 for Quake. 10 points.
Hey, that's not bad. I'll take it.
10 points to Quakefish. Ooh, Estragon diving into Thieves Town early. Definitely not a bad choice.
Yeah, we know it's a crystal. There's 4 treasures here. You might as well do it. Smite. Hook shot.
Oh my!
Nice.
Making an amazing choice to go here. And yeah, Smight checking the mushroom immediately. Aye. Fortunately, not getting what he wants.
I'm a little bit confused because Smite had the possibility, if he would have saved quit and saved just before turning that mushroom in, could have activated the fake powder glitch to check what was on powder.
Oh, that is true.
And I know not a lot of people are used to being able to do that check, so I can absolutely understand not being consciously aware of it. But that could save Smite some time had he done that. That could leave Estragon an opening here in a little bit later. Smite is going to be doing his normal flipper checks now on his way up to get the bow, I have to believe.
Yeah, I would almost assume that he's going to get is going to get the bow. You might as well just knock out early. It is a very nice item to have. It is required for both Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness, both of which are our special crystals.
I mean, that's amazing right there to know that both Pod and EP right there are your special crystals. You know where your weaponry is required to go ahead and clear both of them. And then you just have to mirror right over and you're there. So absolutely a rock solid play here by Smite if that's indeed what he's going to be doing.
Although a first quick visit to the Waterfall Fairy doesn't get much of anything. But obviously the main objective of this trip was to get that bow sitting on that Zora ledge. I'm going to say hi to King Zora for a second time.
I mean, he can pick up the shield if he wants to. I think it's still there.
Is it? I mean, I guess we'll find out.
It's not exactly something that I think we're used to seeing. No, Smite, I want to see.
No, go up. Just ever so slightly. No. This is why we can't have nice things.
I mean, if this is the only reason we can't have nice things, I think we're at a win right now.
Oh, actually, if the shield is still rendered, then this should be a shield. No, unfortunately, it is still the bow. Although, our runners are happy to find that, and either way, it would have given them the bow, even if you go down there after paying Sora for the item. It's just a visual glitch in this otherwise flawlessly coded game.
Yes, because nothing is ever wrong with this game at all. It is a perfect masterwork of coding prowess.
Masterwork of little pieces loosely tied together with duct tape and... Wait, did I say that?
Yeah, that's right. So Chad actually pointing out something pretty interesting. We know Desert is boots lock, and we know Skull Woods requires the fire rod. But those are the only 2 items we don't know. We are 2 items away from no mode. Already.
Yeah, oh wow, yeah, that is true. I don't see you having a bright future though. We'll just have to see about that blind. Ooh, Estragon getting slightly off script, getting knocked around by these energy orbs. Actually find a big 20 on the pyramid. Know what we're looking for. Smight going to make his way over to the Palace of Darkness, most likely going to finish up that one. Oh, unfortunately, a death to blind. Does not have a safety fairy. Will be sent right back to the start, unfortunately.
You know, what I'd like to have seen Estragon do at that point, he still has his bee in a bottle. And one of the unique strats that you can do on blind is if you unleash a bee during the blind fight, he will chase away a head.
Oh, that is true. Although very rare, the way that the enemy AI works is, again, flawless. So
Perfect. Not a thing wrong with the coding at all.
I mean, at least it's stable. That's a positive. Speaking of stable, Kiki still doing his extortionist ways, charging a full 110 rupees for access to Powers of Darkness. Estragon using his potion already. Definitely doesn't want to die a second time. Does want to get his redemption shot.
I think that's a worthwhile potion. You don't want to have to die 2 times and waste even more. It is a crystal. Meanwhile, Smight is diving into pod.
Yeah, and with that, we did find the big key in the first chest, so logic-wise, it is bow-locked. Thankfully, though, we did already get that bow from the Zora ledge with the flippers we got from good old Stumpy.
Oh, I keep forgetting we're not completely in go mode yet. We still haven't found the Titan's mitts, by the way. I slightly forgot about that item.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to forget. Titan's mitts does have a substantial amount of dependencies, so you would be forgiven for a little slip of the mind. Estragon, though, not letting Digging Game slip his mind, will be collecting his Quake Medallion. Not sure if that will come into play at any point during this game, as both Maya and Top Rock are our pendants, but as of yet we are still not in go mode, so for all we know we might still have to dip one of them.
And isn't that just like version 29? I mean, we're so close to go mode for both these runners, and we're just looking for a couple items, but as what seems to be the case frequently in version 29, it's just a handful of items that are really holding us back.
Estragon making use of his mirror, checking some stray locations, will be receiving his flippers. Meanwhile, Smight making his way through the Palace of Darkness. Is onto the second part. We'll be finding a lot more items, as is normal for the Palace of Darkness. Business in the front, party in the back. That's, I believe it was Dr. Bob Tastic that dubbed that term.
Yep, Dr. Bob. Good old Dr. Bob. And I do want to clarify a question from SZ Solzik. Who's asking, if items are random, isn't it possible to get a run that cannot be completed? You would be correct if there wasn't logic built into the seed. For example, the way it ends up working is that every treasure chest has an item requirement built into it. So say these treasure chests here in the dark rooms in Palace of Darkness require, Dark World access, being Moon Pearl, Hammer, or Titan's mitts, and at least one lift upgrade. Also requires the lamp in order to get in. Depending on the logic to get through, it also has an individual requirement of, bow, possibly. So in order for a seed, and in its fill category, it will be randomized, knowing that each treasure chest has those random restrictions placed on it. That eliminates a lot of possibilities, and by far the most of them being seeds that are impossible to complete. And that's just kind of a peek into the back end of the coding, I believe. If Vtorp was here, I'm sure he would come in and tell me that that's entirely wrong, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that does sound like it is just as stable as this game's coding, as we find the swagnet in the Paths of Darkness. An excellent find, although not required. I mean, I say that, but it's very much required for chat's sake. As they are very excited to see the net. Oh dear, Smight making his way onto the final part of Paths of Darkness. Will be going into arguably the toughest dark room of this dungeon. Thankfully, though, it has the lamp, so we'll be able to completely see where he's going.
Meanwhile,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, meanwhile, Estragon is actually going to be routing things beautifully. He went over, did Hype Cave, and then because he got the flippers, he routed in, is able to do these flipper checks, is going to be able to pick up his bow here directly. And if Estragon wants to, he'll be able to kind of just flow right into Pod and Eastern. That's actually brilliant routing by Estragon, kind of starting at Thieves and working his way all around, just being very efficient with his checks.
Yeah, knowing the ins and outs of this game is definitely very important in order to bring that time down. As we mentioned before, with the seed kind of breadcrumbing both of our runners, execution does become a very big part of who will be the deciding winner. Though Estragon deciding to pick up his shield after paying the hefty 500 rupees. Meanwhile, Smight into the King Helmersor fight as Estragon picks up his bow. We'll be very happy to finally get that item. As we are getting some hammer strats. Definitely not one of the easier ones.
No, that hitbox when going up is just horrible, as we know. But spin strats on King Helmersor. Here we go.
Definitely playing it safe as we get a vanilla heart container. Is this even randomized? But with that, Smight does finish off the Paths of Darkness, gaining his first crystal at at 47 minutes in. Will be mirroring and will be collecting his second crystal almost immediately after.
My God, this murder dactyl is persistent on Estragon's side.
You did not want to let up. Oh my!
I'm gonna get you! I'm gonna get you! I'm gonna get you!
The fighter sword, it's so bad. Oh, anyway, meanwhile, Estragon paying off the extortionist, Kiki the monkey, will be following closely behind Smight.
So Smight is going to be finishing up this Eastern Palace, and then I can't imagine he isn't going to flute away and immediately go and check the Pyramid Ferry, as well as our first check on the Pyramid, being able to route those two together. That would, I mean, that's going to be very nice for him. I guess what we're really waiting on at this point is who's going to go up to check Catfish. That's a check we haven't made, and it's become increasingly isolated with all the other checks that have been done.
Yeah, Catfish definitely is a far out of the way location, so runners either check it really early or try to check it not at all.
Oh, I'm incorrect. Smight checked it earlier, so
wait,
I'm wrong.
Yeah, I knew that.
Sure. Yep. Thanks. It's all right. I make mistakes, you know.
Thanks, chat.
Cool.
We love you. Oh, speaking about loving things, most likely a textbook armors fight, bit unorthodox with the sword out technique, but little effort, and the almost nice go down. Very nice job from Smight.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, up to this point in time, we really haven't found our next breadcrumb of progression yet. I mean, we can absolutely, once Smight heads into Thieves Town, he'll get the hook shot. He'll be able to go ahead and do Swamp Palace. Estragon will be able to do Swamp Palace regardless. But I don't know how long it's going to be. Oh, maybe Smite's doing Thieves Town first.
No, definitely not a bad idea. Of course, we have hindsight in knowing that the hookshot is there, but both these runners are capped in incomplete seclusion to make this as fair as possible. So definitely going on what his intuition is telling him. But yeah, that Swamp Palace play is becoming more and more attractive. 6 unique item locations, so.
Well, he can also go up here and do our Skull Woods check. And I think Estragon actually avoided Skull Woods initially, didn't he?
Yes, I believe neither of our runners have actually taken a dive into Skullwoods. Probably wanted to avoid the dungeon until they have the fire rod to complete it. Although, as is normal in the vanilla game, the fire rod can still be in Skullwoods itself. Luckily,
I mean, that's...
Or the tires, mates! Still forgot those that we needed them required. English. Wow.
we don't speak English here. We speak Hyrulean, which
Hylian,
is like Hylian, whatever.
Or
it's similar to English, but we all just understand each other instinctively. It has no rule set.
Just words.
Yes. Words are things, you know.
Letters in peculiar arrangements to sound like relatable. #relate. Anyway. Smight going to use the Cadence of Mario to go through this room in a breeze.
So what that does for Smight is able to do some of these other checks. For example, the Jeremiah loop. He'll be able to go ahead and do, Jeremiah, of course, the hammer pegs, and then purple chest, which will route him also down into the swamp area where he can make a play. Although he hasn't dipped Thieves Town yet, so I mean, if he dips Thieves Town, this would be ideal routing. He doesn't know it. Or he shouldn't know it at this point in time, but that would be the ideal play, just so we can have hookshot and just route all of that together.
Yeah, it does look like he is going to check the Village of Outcasts, and I wouldn't doubt it by extension Thieves Town. It is a crystal, and you can complete it. You do have the hammer to check the big chest if necessary. So. Estragon, meanwhile, making great headway through the Palace of Darkness. Will be facing off against the Hammersaw King momentarily as well. As Smight does pick up his hookshot, we'll be very glad to find that. Hookshot is one of my favorite items. Not only because it allows me to stun enemies because I'm bad, but it also allows you to make routing a bit more quicker because you can hook onto certain objects such as trees, blocks, and the like.
And while we see these two runners going ahead and following in each other's footsteps for a bit, I do want to give a quick timeout to thank Kirito, our wonderful tracker, who's helping us out quite a bit today. Thank you, Kirito, for all your tracking assistance. We would not be able to do this without you.
Oh yeah, this would be impossible.
Yeah, no way. No, thank you. Keep in mind, there's other randomizer action going on later today, so stay tuned even after this. At 7 o'clock Eastern, we have Ninjembro versus Raja like the Tiger on Speed Gaming 2. At 8 o'clock Eastern, we have Zyrak versus Felix right here on Speed Gaming. On Speed Gaming 5 at 8 o'clock as well, we have Number Play versus Genja23. Also at 8 o'clock, we have Ferrain versus Spooty Biscuit. I think that's a 5-0 match, which they're both in. It's just going to be awesome to watch two top-notch runners go that. That's going to be over on ALTTP Randomizer 1. So mark your calendars. I mean, stay here because this is obviously where we want you to be because we're awesome. But just plan your evening accordingly because there's still lots of rando to be had.
Yeah, the randomizer is not going to stop because this hype train has lost its brakes. And dare I say thankfully, as I am truly enjoying my time with both randomizer as well as the community. Shoutouts, by the way, to the ALTTPR community. Of course, being the very reason that this is so much fun and this is made possible. So if you have some spare time and you like the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, be sure to give the randomizer a try. As Estragon is machine gunning down with the bow into the duel of
Oh man, that was rude there, Helvasaur.
Wow, he just stayed there, just like hi. Oh my.
All right, so Estragon, what are you going to do now? Now that you've... Oh, he's going to do Eastern, right? So, still covering each other's bases. So, I just want to clarify, Smight going through, the big key, as we've already... Or the small key is locked in the big treasure chest. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. The small key is by logic locked in the big chest, which technically you are able to get to by shooting the key from upstairs and then going downstairs specifically for the big chest. But that's nobody does that.
Yeah, I mean that would be horrible routing, but luckily for us, that gives us kind of a bit of a clue. That indicates that in order to beat blind and whatever blind happens to hold, when the key is locked behind that, the logic does expect you to route things as horribly as you possibly can, which indicates to us if blind happened to have something, it would be locked behind the hammer. So then you can make some logical decisions based on that. It doesn't help us in this particular match because it was worthless, but it's good information to know.
Yeah, it can definitely give you a slight advantage knowing the little ins and outs of the way that the logic works. Of course, again, as I've said, knowledge is power, but execution can be the great decider. Smight now finally checking the Village of Outcasts. Gets his red mill from the chest game. As we see Estragon almost into the Amos fights. Amos Knights fight. And there's Jeremiah. No world tour today, but we'll at least get to see what he is holding or smithing for us.
Do you know why they called him Jeremiah? Just wondering if you're familiar.
I'm actually unaware.
So there is this old, I say old, this old American band called Three Dog Night. And a song that they wrote starts out something like, Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Oh.
He was a good friend of mine. I never understood a word he said, but I still did drink his wine.
Oh my god. That was amazing. And very interesting indeed, as I mean, it is a bullfrog after all. Well, that is a very nice cover. Of,
I appreciate it. You know, I have very few things that I'm good at, and singing isn't one of them, but it annoys people, so I do it anyway.
The name of the game, you know it. Who, for a second, I thought that Smight was going to check Batcave, but he already cashed in his mushroom. As estragon is escorting the big bomb. I should get the best boomerang in the game, the boomerang. Fight me on it, chat.
I mean, I like the red meringue because it goes farther and lags the game, and when the game lags, then I can actually see what's going on.
Sparkles.
So Estragon actually doing this check. I like it. He hasn't checked the Pyramid Fairy yet, so I like this check. Smight looks like we'll be going over to Swamp Palace now.
Definitely not a bad choice. As I said, 6 unique items. And we are still looking for at least 2 of them. Or at least 2 unique items. And there's one of them, the boots.
The boots.
The cursed Pyramid Fairy. Oh, that is going to allow estragon to move substantially faster. 4 times as fast, actually. Ish.
Yeah.
3-ish, 4-ish.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, it's just significant because, you know, we're speedrunners. We like to go fast. And he's also looking like he's going to go over here, check this one-off Pyramid Fairy location. They're tied in their crystal count. Smight, full clearing Swamp Palace right now. I mean, we don't know what the play is going to be. Smight might end up finding the Fire Rod here. That's all we need is the Fire Rod. I mean, if we get Bombos, then the Fire Rod could theoretically be an Ice Palace, but we're a Fire Rod away from go mode on Estragon's side. If you were in Estragon shoes right now, knowing what you know, well, he still needs the Titan's mitts, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God!
Oh, those mitts! Darn it! They are so easy to forget. You usually get them so early on, as it does open up quite a lot of locations. Wow.
So Estragon's got to get over to Skull Woods to get those Titan's mitts. Smite's got to get over to do his Pyramid Fairy check to get those boots, and we're still looking for Fire Rod.
Oh, and chat is pointing out another sword upgrade as well. We do need at least the Master Sword to beat the game.
I mean, yeah, technically.
Well, I mean, most definitely.
Yes, I'm not arguing that point. We'll put it that way. But I think with these runners at 4-1, you're not going to be afraid to go ahead and dive into Ganon's Tower because of the load of items that you can possibly get in there. You just presume that you're going to find at least one sword going up there.
Yeah, with 3 more out in the wild. And already being over an hour in, this is quite remarkable not having found a second upgrade, actually. Although we still have a lot of dungeon to go before we get into Ganon's Tower, so who knows, we might even end up with the gold sword.
Estragon now diving into Desert again, knowing this is boots locked, I think. So we'll be able to go ahead and complete it. Has Fire Source, has 1 lift upgrade. Don't know what we're necessarily going to find here. I believe we'll still have 2 items total.
Yes, that is correct. It did get shut down as early as it possibly could. As we do find the big key, which is required in order to get to the end. Ooh, and there's the cape. Although at the moment not being a very huge item.
I mean, the cape is nice for Ganon, especially when you have half magic. So that's nice, especially if we're looking at a possible Master Sword Ganon.
Oh yeah, being able to go invincible is definitely a very great bonus. Although Smight is going to go menu simulator, thanks to only having that fighter sword. It actually does not do any damage to the little R guy. You do have to perform a spin attack with the fighter sword, and it does take 2 hits for the puffs to die. So definitely the faster option is the menu.
Well, and we see Smite doing something that some runners try to do, but aren't always successful, doing these double grabs in order to make the menuing more efficient. It does absolutely make the fight faster, but it does take a little bit more setup. So Smite just doing the best he can right now with these double puffs, making relatively clean work, all things said. That's one of the better menu fights that I think I've seen on this boss.
Oh, definitely. Hammer Argus is not easy. As we can see here, the hammer hitbox. Ooh. Argus coming down in some favorable patterns, and Smite does smack it on the head. Gets rid of Argus, gets rewarded with the map, knows where the boss is at the very least, and does end up with his counting for 4th crystal.
Oh, Estragon is using Ice Rod strats on Landmo. Ice Rod does just as much damage on Landmo that Fire Rod does, but the beam itself travels relatively slow. Smite is going to be diving back into Swamp. He completely skipped left side. We've not had any value here in Swamp Palace so far.
Yeah, so far this has been a bust. Although it wouldn't be the first time that left side Swamp is coming in clutch. Meanwhile, Estragon finally checking Agina's cave.
So where do you think these guys go next? We know where Estragon and Smite need to go, but the question is, where will they go next?
At this point, it might come down to Misery Maya holding progression, or even Turtle Rock. As all of the crystal dungeons, we can't complete Skull Woods due to not having the Fire Rod. Same story for Ice Palace, as well as missing Bombos. So unless there are some overworld locations, it is going to be a pendant dungeon, as is customary with the latest version of the randomizer.
Well, and here we see Estragon at least going in the right direction. Looks like he's going to be taking the portal up here. We'll see if he is doing the Skull Woods check, which would absolutely get him the Titan's Mitts. He's also got the ability to check Bunk Rocks, King's Tomb, and Graveyard Ledge while he's over in this area, though. So, be worthwhile. He can also do a Bumper Cave check. I don't think he's done a Bumper Cave check either, but he's going north. Estragon is making the play he needs to make.
Yeah, we'll be very happy to find those mitts. And as chat is pointing out, Spy Cave has also yet to be checked, which technically was in logic fairly early on due to finding 3 bottles close to 10 minutes in.
There's the Fire Rod. Wow.
Left side Swamp, always required.
But that's, oh god, that's actually bad news for Smite. Because now Smite's progression, he's going to go over, he's going to do Ice Palace, he's going to do Skull Woods, and we know that the boots that he needs are in the Pyramid Ferry in order to do Desert Palace. So he is going to end up full clearing Ice Palace. He may even dip into some place like Misery Mire or Turtle Rock before doing that Pyramid Fairy check. I can see this really putting a long way on a swipe.
Oh yeah, this
Smight.
could go south really easily.
But just as far south did Estragon not check? Did he got his Titan's Mitts, right?
Wait.
Yes, he did. Okay. Whew.
Yeah, he must have, like, there's no way that you would dive Skullwoods, only get one item and then leave. Ooh, actually, Estragon looping back on himself. Oh, only a red rupee. Agam not required after all.
Yeah, so he's going to do these North Shore checks. We do know where he needs to go. As soon as he gets that Fire Rod, he is in go mode. Smight will be in go mode as soon as he goes to the Pyramid Fairy. The unfortunate thing is, because Smight has so much more of the world unlocked than Estragon in terms of what he needs to do, really concerned that Smight is going to fall behind here. But weirder things have happened. The race is not over yet.
Yeah, that is true. It all just comes down on Smight remembering that location, that Pyramid Fairy that they both worked very hard for with the Pod Eastern combo. Although then again, being a fairly out of the way location, requiring you to get the big bomb as well as walk all the way over there, it might be.
So we got silvers as well.
Oh, hello. I noticed.
Yeah, I rely on chat because I was watching chat while we were talking, and then and they're like, eggs, silvers, and the best cane ever.
Go! That's gonna be second cane.
No, that's first cane. I don't care what anyone says. That's the best cane.
Can't argue with Vitasia. We should rename it to Cane of Vitasia.
I mean, I would love to have something named after me in a video game. Let's talk about it. Look, I'll have my people call your people. How about that?
Sure thing. Just cool within business hours. Speaking of being in business, Smight expertly takes care of that Mothula with the Fire Rod and the Master Sword. Not Master Sword, Fire Sword spins.
Estragon taking a look at what was on Misery Mire, but going to check the Mire Shed. Logical choice here. We know what he's got to do in terms of the only crystal dungeon that he has access to at this point, which is Swamp Palace. And Smite's making a ped check because you never know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no!
That's a sword.
Oh. I have no words for this. Is this even randomized? Stop. No, this is not happening.
Now, another sword could be on a tablet. And, oh my god.
Oh no.
And Estragon's doing this Dark Death Mountain check prior to going into. He really wants to be able to go mode Swamp Palace, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't blame
These
him.
are logical checks, but sword. Oh no.
Ooh, that sends shivers down the spine for that one. Oh my. But as you mentioned, is it really worth it to go for that sword as opposed to just hoping for one along the way? As you know, probably the longest dungeons, Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, are required to open that.
Well, I mean, it does create something interesting. That means there's only 2 swords out there instead of 3. So you're in a situation now that you have to kind of mentally prepare yourself. And you have plenty of time to mentally prepare yourself. Say, well, I'm probably going to have to do Master Sword Cannon. In Smite's case, it will be slightly worse because if he gets boots and then is in go mode, he is going to be looking at doing Master Sword silverless. He won't be looking for those silvers that end up being in the bonk rocks. Estragon finds another fetch quest. So if you're Smite, you're preparing yourself mentally. It's like, as soon as I get boots, I'm in go mode. Go. So Smight is having to set himself up to do Master Sword silverless. Estragon will likely end up, unless we find both the other swords along the path, likely have to do Master Sword silvers. Don't, Estragon, what are you doing? Please. Is he diving Turtle Rock?
Stop. No, that probably was an accident. It is Ether. We do have access to the dungeon. It does hold 5 items plus Mimic Cave. Oh, but that is really a tough decision, diving Turtle Rock this early.
Yeah, no, I as much as you don't want to necessarily have to full clear Swamp Palace, if you can complete a crystal dungeon, do a crystal dungeon. I've personally learned that the hard way in some of my races.
Yeah, I take the advice of the people better than me, advising to complete dungeons first. Ooh, Smight there using the invincibility of falling into a pit to stand inside of the berries. Quick little, small little optimization there.
Absolutely. So Estragon now completed everything here. Where are you going? Where is my Estragon gone?
He might be going to check the Jeremiah loop. Did he do that? I think that was Smight.
No, yeah, he hasn't done the Jeremiah loop yet. So he's gonna do Jeremiah, he's gonna do Hammer Pegs, he's gonna take the purple chest, take it down there, and then he'll be right next to Swamp Palace. So he's trying to route things together with his Swamp Palace dip.
Oh, I'm seeing some devious plans starting to emerge from chat, which is quite evil. Both swords in Turtle Rock. That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot that can go wrong with this seed yet because we only have 2 swords now that are still on the table, with that third one being on the pedestal. It can be past the big key in Gainus Tower. It can be in Turtle Rock. It can be behind. It can be behind the powder right now. Like Estragon, because Estragon has the ability to still do fake powder. I think while Smight turned in his powder, that could be even more bad news for Smight if that's the case.
I believe both put in their mushrooms already. So if powder, for example, is anywhere near the second Muldrome chamber, then that might be... Wow, that might be a tough cookie to swallow.
Okay, so Estragon also turned in his mushroom. So yeah, I mean, if something's there and like powder is deep in Mire or Turtle Rock, or yeah,
Ice Palace.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that just shuts down immediately, I suppose.
Why? Ice Palace, why you gotta go be spoiling things?
Nobody likes Ice Palace. For more than one reason. Oh, Astragon picking up some extra money. Definitely not a bad choice.
And here's his purple chest, and then he's going to save it quite, or is he gonna manually walk it? No, he's gonna walk it down.
Smight meanwhile into the Cultster fight, half magic and fire rod. Definitely going to have a whale of a time with this one. Although Fighter's Sword is not as optimal.
No, but with his magic, already ended up. Oh, and he's got a bottle of green goo. So yeah,
Oh, that's
we'll dive it and say yeah, fire rod. You're done. And 2 shots. That's it.
Oh, very nice done. Very nicely done there from Smight.
So where does Smight go now? Still doesn't have the boots, so he can't do Desert Palace. He has access to Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
Oh.
He hasn't done Dark Death Mountain yet at all, and that seems to be a solid check.
Oh no.
Oh, he's gonna check the Mire area. Okay, so this is a relatively quick check.
It was Estragon that had already checked it. Did we see the medallion required for Maya on a side note?
I don't think Estragon even looked at it, and neither is Smight. He's saying, no, I don't believe.
Yeah, for his sake, I hope that he calls that big bomb, as boots were in the Fat Fairy location.
And there's Bombo's tablet, just another rupee hoard. So 2 swords are still out there. I know. Chat was dreaming of a sword there to restrict it down to even 1 sword, but
not today, chat. Your evil ways have been curbed.
Are you telling me that their evil ways have been smited?
Anyway,
I mean,
that I'm not gonna lie. That one was, I did not see that one coming.
yes, I know. The technical term is smoked. Okay, I get it.
Smitten. Oh no. Oh man, I'm completely losing it with this seed. 1.5 hours in, both runners looking for 1 item and the sword.
Oh, and Smight going up to Dark Death Mountain. I mean, he does need to make these checks, and it's entirely possible that while he's up here, he's going to say, yeah, let's go ahead and dive Turtle Rock.
No, don't do it.
I got the cane and the ice rod for a reason, right?
I mean, I did mention at the very start Turtle Rock required, so hopefully he didn't listen to me because, you know, surely I only spat nonsense. Oh yeah, wow, this really has taken a backseat. Both runners checking all the wrong locations. Smight going for the hookshot cave.
Well, and Estragon doing the overworld checks that we know he needs. That might even be worse. Smight gets a fetch quest.
Oh yeah, we did already see it from Estragon's side, only yielding 300 rupees. But that is another location that might weigh down on Smite's mind. Oh, don't you dare! Don't you dare!
He's doing it.
No.
He's gonna do it.
Ah, no! Please, just flutes to 4. No. Well.
Now this might actually be decent for Smight if both of the sword upgrades are here, and Estragon will have to dip it anyway. But in order for that, both sword upgrades would have to be here.
Yes, that is correct. This is still not too bad of a play. The item density sure does lend itself to at least check this area. But man, this is such a tough spot to be in, especially since obviously the location Smight still needs to do is that cursed ferry. Sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say Astragon is also foregoing left side, at least initially. Probably will make a very similar play to Smight here.
Yeah, definitely not a bad choice. If you do happen to find the item along the way, then that'll just be time saved not going left side. But Astragon will be collecting his fire rod in the very near future, being only left with one sword upgrade. So at this point, Astragon does have the advantage, but depending on what items we find here in Turtle Rock, that might be swayed directly in the opposite again.
It is worth noting that Smight does have 6 of his crystals already done. Meanwhile, Estragon is doing Swamp Palace. He would have to do Skull Woods and Ice Palace. Smight will still have to do Desert Palace. So it's still entirely possible if Smight has an epiphany and says, I need to go do Pyramid Fairy, he will be in a very, very good spot. He will just have wasted more time through Ice Palace than Estragon will have to do once he finds the Fire Rod. But so it's not hopeless for Smight. I still think Estragon has the advantage here. It's just how soon does Smight decide to go and check that Pyramid Fairy?
Yeah, he does have an advantage, although a very, very fragile one. As Astragon is also playing Menu Simulator, getting very close to Argus there. Smight is making his way through the tube maze. Well, it's not really a maze, it's technically a labyrinth. I always wondered how those tubes work, because you go quite fast in them actually.
All right, Estragon finding nothing so far in Swamp. I think Estragon's going to dip left side. I mean, there's 2 items over there, and once you do Swamp, you just got to keep doing Swamp.
Yeah, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it all the way. And the moment of truth, he thought about it for a moment, does go back in, thankfully. Will be receiving his fire rods from the left side. As Smight is using the fire rod to make his way through Turtle Rock. Will be coming up on the Mimic Cave.
Yeah, and it is worth noting that, while we're in kind of go-ish mode, once Estragon gets it, those swords really do loom large. It is required to at least have Master Sword. Smight is in Turtle Rock, and if there's a sword here, that's 3 of the 4 swords that are possible in the game, and it's really out of the way. So wonders become, where are these swords? And it becomes a significant issue.
Yeah, this could very much come down to Smight finding all those swords, meanwhile Astragon being excluded from all of them. Or the other way around, if Astragon does decide to go up Ganon's tower and does find both of the swords there. As the item locations are steadily decreasing for Turtle Rock. Oh, very nice strat there with the red boomerang hitting the switch. Yeah, unfortunately, the Fire Sword does not reach all the way to the Crystal Switch as opposed to the other swords, as it is just a tiny bit shorter physically in the game.
All right, so both these runners are going to be coming across some interesting things here directly. Smight is going to be going through Laser Bridge here soon. Estragon is going to be finding the Fire Rod. It is kind of an interesting question at this point. Will Estragon go mode Ice Palace? Still looking for a sword. We happen to know there's no sword there. But when you're looking for a sword, do you make the gamble that you'll eventually find one in Turtle Rock? Or do you just say, no, I gotta look for one right now?
Honestly, on the subject of Ice Palace, I would have gone with it. Well,
that's a sword.
Wow. Come on. Oh, I didn't count items, but I'm believing.
Oh, well, and there's still one item on Trinex.
And Smight is going for it. He is not taking any chances.
That is significant. That there's one sword still out there. We have no idea.
Oh, this might be dire for Estragon. If the other sword does end up being on Trinex.
Okay, so man, I am. This is turning out to be quite the race right now because Smight has the sword. There's still one more out there. One is on the pedestal. We know Bombos Neither tablet, so that dream is dead. We still have Misery Mire, which has 2 items. We still have the Green Pendant, which is another 3rd item. Smight, don't die, please.
Oh. We'll be able to use his powder to at least get a bit of health back. But yeah, Trinex being the final boss of the game still does a lot of damage.
I need to clarify. So the 3rd sword upgrade is on the pedestal. We're just waiting on the 4th sword upgrade, wherever that last one is. And where is it?
Oh, Hammer Strats, definitely a good idea considering only Master Sword for Smight does get the last second menu to start wailing on the Ice Head. Little fun fact: the Ice Head does actually take damage from the Fire Rod, but the Fire Head does not take damage from the Ice Rod.
Why is that?
Again, flawless coding to keep consistency ish. It's a
sounds good. Sounds about right.
Magic. It's a magical beast. It's Onyx. We're smashing it with a hammer, fighting type move, super effective. Yada yada. Blade of Justice. Smight takes down Trinex and gets rewarded with the other sword, Red Rupee.
Nope.
One sword still out there in the wild.
So here's the thing: if you're Smight, do you dip Misery Mire? I mean, obviously we want him to go to where he needs to go. We want him to go do Pyramid Fairy right now because that would blow this thing wide open.
Yes, Pyramid Fairy would give him everything that he needs to finish the game.
But he's gonna do Misery Mire.
Ooh. I mean, it's a really tough choice, and honestly, from Smite's point of view, not a bad one. It is denser than any of the other locations, and it is still very possible that he might have just forgotten about the Pyramid Fairy, or at least for now.
So, I mean, worst case scenario, and this kind of is worst case scenario. Mr. Smight, sir, ends up coming to a point where he doesn't find another sword, or if he finds a sword here, this would be fantastic for Smight. It would be absolutely fantastic if we find a sword here.
Yes, that would be an amazing find, and I doubt that Estragon is going to check the pendant dungeon for quite a while. Probably going to put his money on Ganon's Tower holding the last one.
And it looks like Estragon is not necessarily comfortable. He's still opening treasure chests as well. He's got to be looking for those swords at this point. He could go ahead and be done right now. This could be interesting. I mean, if he does this dungeon, goes up, does Skull Woods, maybe he just is full clearing dungeons he needs on his way, avoiding Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. Smight, I think, has at this point a bit of an execution advantage, given the number of dungeons he has completed. My worry right now is that Smight forgot what he's looking for. Like, he forgot the Pyramid Fairy exists.
Yeah, due to the fact that both Eastern and Pod were the special crystals, they were completed very close to each other, and fairly early on in the seed, if I recall, around the 40-minute mark, which is almost an hour ago. So it is very possible that it just simply slipped his mind. Although eventually, he is going to run out of locations. Just the same as Estragon, who also still needs a sword.
Now there's our first item, just a piece of heart.
Misery Mire not coming in with a lot at the moment. Estragon finally onto the gold step fight. Again, with half magic and the fire rod, not going to be any trouble. I actually find the Misery Mire big key in the map chest, I believe that is.
Oh, nice double hit right at the very end. I think just one more hit here.
Oh, Estragon wanted to save his potion, opting for hammer strats. Has to be careful. Red mail does help, but
Yeah, pulling the green potion out and says, "Nah, I'm taking you guys out at a distance." Smight going through here on his way to Vitreous. So this, we have an interesting conundrum here. Smight is going to be completing his third pendant dungeon, so he will be able to to pull the pedestal.
That is true, actually. I hadn't even considered that.
So Smite's going to be able to pull the pedestal, get another sword upgrade that Estragon is not going to have.
Yeah, what if Sahasra holds on to the last one?
That would be an amazingly lucky draw for Smight. Estragon going up here to go ahead and do likely Skull Woods, and then we'll be on his way up to, I imagine, Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point you are in, very secure go mode, with the only exception being a sword upgrade. And as for Estragon, he does not know that the sword is on the pedestal. No, wait, yes, he does know that the sword is on the pedestal. He does not know that there is a sword in Turtle Rock. So, to his knowledge, there's still two swords out there, so he might take that gamble and hope it's in Ganon's Tower.
Just another key. Smight not finding it. So that's the green pendant. That is 3 pendants. I imagine he's going to go turn in that pendant. I hope he pulls the pen.
Yeah, that'd be pretty hype.
Oh, Smite still got one more item to find in Meyer. He was hoping that it wasn't. He skipped the very back vanilla big key chest because it's out of the way and requires a coffee break. Problem is, it requires much more to get back there. Worth noting, Smite does also still have some fetch quests to do. I think he's still got Shovel. He's got Magic Bat. So he has some other things he needs to be doing.
Yeah, he definitely has quite a fair amount of options. All of which are single item locations as well.
All right, so yeah.
Wow. An overwhelming answer from chat.
Yeah, everyone.
Boots are indeed in the Pyramid Fairy location.
I mean, we really want Smite to go there, but he's not.
Oh my.
He just refused to go there up to this point in time. Maybe he even thinks that he's already gotten it.
Oh, that might be an even bigger downfall. And mark it on your own personal tracker.
Yeah.
Estragon being able to mark off Mothula getting an excellent hammer kill will be supposedly moving on to the Ganon's Tower, which for all intents and purposes has one item that is also always required in terms of the big key. Now there are 22 locations, one of which will hold the big key, hopefully one of which will hold the last sword. So, Vitatia, where do you think that the big key is going to be?
Well, that's a great question. I should make sure everyone's aware in chat. I think everyone's used to the song and dance right now, but just for the VOD, so in case anyone wants to know why everyone's posting numbers in chat. Because there are 22 treasure chests in the Ganon's Tower Big Key, we have a game that we play here. Everyone, if you are a subscriber to Speed Gaming or have donated at least 250 bits, you can be entered for our leaderboard in order to guess. I'm going to go with 18. I kind of want Estragon to go deep into Ganon's Tower and find a sword. I know I'm boring and dull. I kind of want there to be a sword in Ganon's Tower, though.
Very interesting. What I usually do is, akin to Randomizer, I like to generate a random number between 1 and 22.
It's 6.
6 it is. Which would be, in normal routing, in the Stalfos room.
So Smite started teasing us and said, no, I'm going to go check Bombo's tablet first. It's just right there. It's right there, Smite. No, don't put it away!
It's like he doesn't want to. Oh, he goes back to 4. He goes, yes.
Okay.
This might be it. This might be it. Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, he could still go another direction, but please stay on this path. Please, Smite.
Go right, up, left, up, right, up, in-house, down, left, right, straight on, hammer, left, boom, sword.
I think he's doing it. Oh my god. Now, it's worth noting, Smite he didn't pull the pedestal, which has a 3rd sword. We don't know where the 4th sword is. It's not in Misery Mire. It feels like it's gotta be in Ganon's Tower somewhere.
Oh my, first 2 chests coming up. $50. And the small key, Estragon going left side.
And Ganon's tower is super scary with just the Master Sword even. Climbing Ganon's tower right now for the with Fighter Sword is just a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely very uncommon. Also, another thing that is uncommon, the runner who is not in GT is in Go mode first, in technicality. And Smight knows it. He is going to immediately complete Desert Palace. And thereafter will be onto Ganon's tower as well, close to Estragon.
Oh, he's going to pull the
Who
pedestal!
finds the big key? Oh my god! So much hype.
So that was what? 1, 2, 3. That was 3.
Yeah, tire room was skipped, so that does mean it 4, right?
4, yeah, okay. It was the 4th treasure chest. Okay.
Yeah, 4. Number 4. Congratulations. Meanwhile, the hype, like sword hype thing. Yes. The legends speak of this moment. 3 crystals, pendants, yada yada. You got a sword.
I mean, Tempered Sword is going to be great, especially since Estragon is still going through here trying to find even 1 sword upgrade. This is going to come down to the wire here. There's Bombos.
Bombos, hello.
If Estragon doesn't find a sword here, I mean, do you dive? Do you take the gamble, climb up Ganon's tower, go ahead and clear it out, and then leave knowing the highest density locations that you haven't checked is back up on Death Mountain?
I mean, that's going to be tough call to make, but... Oh, ouch. As Estragon is continuing, it is starting to be a reality.
Oh my gosh. So Estragon is going to be climbing this slowly. Very slowly. I mean, he's going to keep on going. Meanwhile, Smight, if he does that right side first, will be able to get the 4th chest and just zoom right up. This is not over yet, ladies and gents. And other folks, I need to make sure to include non-binary folks when I do that call out. So, love.
Yes, we love everyone, and everyone loves us. At least I hope people like us. They've been sticking around for almost 2 hours watching both of these excellent runners. By the way, be sure to give both of these a follow, as they are definitely worth their bacon. Estragon finding Mirror Shield. But
not finding a sword, though.
Yeah, although the shield is golden, the sword is still made of plastic. Interesting, having Mirror Shield before any sword upgrade beyond Fighter Sword.
So, still no sword. And I think if you ask any top-tier runner, and Estragon and Smight are definitely among the better runners in this particular tournament. If you ask them, which would you rather do? Silvers with the Master Sword or silverless Tempered Sword? Every single one of them would tell you silverless Tempered Sword.
Yes, mainly due to the fact that in order to do Master Sword silvers, you do have to perform spin attacks to even touch Ganon. As opposed to the Tempered and Golden Sword being able to just slash away at him. Although one advantage of the silver arrows, a lot of enemies die in 1 hit, as we see with Armors on Ice. Oh my god. Still no sword!
He didn't open the big chest either. You could have opened the big chest, and he's not going up!
He's not!
Or maybe he is! He went back in! What are you doing, Estragon?
What are you doing? What's going on?
He's going for it.
Oh.
He's going for it.
Oh my.
And here's the deal. Smight is not going to be that far away.
Yeah, that is very true. And Estragon will at least be able to finish off Aghanim 2 as he does have Bugnet, and I do believe the level 1 sword does reflect the energy balls. But regardless, it's going to be a lot slower due to the fact that he is missing sword upgrades. But then again, it's going to be slower for Smight due to not having silver arrows.
Well, and yeah, the worst part of all of this is that if Estragon doesn't find a sword as he's climbing up Vienna's tower, he's going to have to go hunting. So the best thing for a close race is that there is indeed a sword up here for Estragon.
Yes, that will be the best case scenario, somewhere along the line of the pre-mortem chest, or in one of the mini Helmsword chests.
So yeah, if there's no sword while going up the gauntlet, Smight, I mean, this is Smite's race to lose. Doing those extra checks absolutely ended up paying off for him. He found one in Ganon's tower. He pulled another one off the pedestal, which is great news as far as Smight is concerned. Man, swords.
Wow. This seed has been insane. Smight does opt to go right side with that smoky. Wow, this race just became even closer.
Yeah, I mean, Estragon is going to have one heck of a time getting through here. Without silver, I mean, with silvers it'll be all right, but fighter sword, I mean, no reach, can have a really difficult time getting through some of these areas with just fighter sword, getting bodied a little bit. I think Estragon does have potions, so he can get
yes,
through.
he should have one blue potion that he picked up still. Oh, Mirror Shield coming in handy. As Smight does pick up his big key, thankfully. Estragon opting to heal up instead of using the bunny beam, most likely in order to set up for the one cycle on land motors. As whenever you stop in the bunny beam room, the land motor cycles will already start, and the one cycle is not as easily achievable.
So meanwhile, Estragon continues his climb. Smight is on his way through, starting the gauntlet as well. Keep in mind, no silvers, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get through these mimics, but otherwise doing relatively well.
He actually killed both of those enemies. I thought that was funny. I always like knocking enemies off of ledges. I'm evil.
Well, yes, you are. I mean, not to say that's a bad thing, but yes, you're evil. All right, so Estragon in this torch room misses the torch.
Ooh, that is going to make the timing a little bit tighter.
A little bit tighter, yeah. Whew, okay,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
maybe wait until...
Oh,
man, that was
was close. Did you hear that? Oh, the fact that both of those sounds actually played out in full is very fortunate. Because if they play at the same time, meaning that the door closes right on top of you, that means that all of the sprites will despawn, which might sound awesome. No enemies, no spikes, no nothing, but also no Aghanim.
All right, there's only 2 treasure chests left for Estragon to find a sword. And one's the compass.
Item. Oh no!
Not even picking up the magic. I guess they know if nothing's here.
Oh, this is brutal. Oh no,
and-
six are full.
Moldorm says, "Yeah, I'm feeling it today."
A little repeat of the Tower of Hera. I believe Estragon also met Trolldom as well over that. Oh my god.
Smight, meanwhile, is in the torch room, gets the torches to go off. All right, here's the
The moment of truth, everyone.
Okay, what do we find here?
And
No!
it's not it.
Don't mirror out.
Why?
You
Why? No. What?
Why?
What?
You can beat.
What is
So-
going on?
So I just want to make sure everyone is aware. You can absolutely beat Aghanim with the fighter sword. It's Ganon specifically that you need the master sword at least for. That the only reason he would be doing this is because he wants to check the denser location in Turtle Rock over the other checks in Misery Mire. Those are the only two places he hasn't checked. So he would rather, and I just want to make sure, he would rather not climb Death Mountain again, as opposed to, but in order to do that is committing to having to reclimb the entire gauntlet. That's
Yeah,
not, I
honestly-
mean, not a good play.
Yeah, that is definitely a bigger time investment to go ahead and redo Ganon's Tower entirely. Although at this point, nerves might also be coming into play as you are in go mode, but you're so close.
And this is why, and I was just as guilty as anyone about it, this is why you have to count your swords before you climb, because it could absolutely play a factor, and it did play a factor this time.
Oh,
I'm still trying to figure out where this fourth sword. There is one treasure chest that we have not checked yet.
which
One.
one is that? Tile room.
Well, okay, two. Tile room and the Ganon's Tower big treasure chest.
Yes, the final bottle in tile room. Final sword in big chest.
I think we actually did we already have the bottle? I don't know.
Do we? We might have. I'm not paying attention. I mean, what am I doing here? Right?
Oh, we also haven't checked Magic Bat.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Remember when both of the runners turned in their mushrooms without fake powdering, even though we got the Cane of Samaria as our opening weapon?
Yeah. So
Oh, that's
wow.
a thing.
Oh my god. Oh, it does look like we did collect the final bottle. But the big key was just too exciting. Which, in all honesty, who cares about a fourth bottle if you find the big key to the Ganon's Tower? Meanwhile, Smight into the Ganon fight itself. Again, did miss the... Oh no!
Oh no, Smite. He probably dipped this thinking he absolutely had to and could not go get any safeties. When you're at an hour 58 and you've done this and you've full cleared everything, you're like, I pulled two swords. I don't know where the last sword is. You have to assume your opponent has done everything better than you. So,
yeah, he is gonna feel really behind at this point. Little does he know that Estragon is actually in a much faster sinking boat looking for a sword upgrade. We'll eventually find it here in Turtle Rock, but it is deep in Turtle Rock on the laser bridge as well, so it's gonna take some time. So Smight definitely has the advantage, and it is his race to lose at this point. But man, that was an amazing comeback. Gambling on Turtle Rock for that sword, going for Maya as well, pulling the third one out of the pedestal. That completely just shifted the lead of this game.
And if Smight is thinking, his advantage, he's like, silvers are in the light world? Oh, God.
That has to be a boost location. Does get the torch glitch.
All right, so entering the silverless fight. This is not too difficult of a fight. I mean, it's not ideal. You want silvers, but being able to do this with tempered sword is certainly preferred over having to do it with master sword. He's actually doing very, very well. He got a good pattern going here.
Yeah, he gets close to 3 spins in per phase. Does opt to play it a little safe. Oop.
Oh, he's got one blue goo. Very.
Very intensive resource managing on Smite's part. You definitely don't want to fall a second time after already being over 2 hours. Oh, meanwhile, estragon still searching. Oh, and with that, Smight does finish off the Ganon fight with Silverless Tempered Sword. GG to Smight for clutching out this one with an official time of 2 hours and 58 minutes. Seconds. I mean...
just barely over 2 hours. GG to Smight. Man, that was a heart stopper. And joining us now
by Smight. Oh, GG.
Hello.
What an insane seed that was.
That hurt every step of the way.
Well, let me paint a picture for you. Estragon got his boots earlier because of those. So his Go mode item, he didn't dip Turtle Rock, he didn't dip Misery Mire.
No swords?
Unfortunately, he's looking for swords right now.
Going into Ganon's tower, I'm like, that's my only chance, is that these swords are not where he can find them.
Yeah, we still don't know where the last sword is.
Ugh. That was starting from, like, Tower Hera, having the item that I couldn't get, being the Moon Pearl, I think.
Yes, that is correct.
Man, everything I did was wrong.
Yeah, although both of you did route pretty much identical at the start, both going up to the Tower of Hera first, and then having to climb all the way back up. But after that, it diverged quite a bit, of course, up until the whole looking for swords ordeal.
Ugh. I died to Ganon, that's... I don't know how I did that. That was bad. I had a blue potion. It felt really stupid.
I mean, that did come out of nowhere, just instant. Also, that vanilla pedestal. What did you think when you read that? I believe back then you were still on Fighter Sword.
I mean, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna need to get that. Apparently that's false, but, I was looking for the boots still, so I figured Mire wouldn't be a bad... I might as well get it while I'm looking. So I ended up just doing everything. I had 2 pedestal seeds right before this, so I figured, why break the trend?
Wow.
Well, and, it kept you from having to do Master Sword Silverless, which would have been just the cherry on top of it all.
I can handle that. I wouldn't have been afraid to try. Like, if I had the boots, I would definitely not have gone after that sword. But it's nice to not have to worry about that. I mean, I died again anyway, so...
So this does move you to 5-1. You're officially in the bracket stages. How's it feel to get that weight off your chest?
Nice. I mean, that's all I gotta say about that. Jeez, this was really a terrifying seed to have that be the win on. Ugh. I had no idea where the other player was. There's like no way I could know because those boots were. As soon as I had the bow, I could have gotten those boots. And I've been looking for them for an hour.
Yeah, this seed could have definitely turned out very, very different. Had either you or your opponent done a slight deviation of the route that they took.
I always make a mistake where I don't. Oh, where were silvers?
Bomb crocs.
Oh.
Yeah, whereas whereas Estragon did get the boots earlier than you did, he did have a bit of a reason to go check some of these locations.
I always make a mistake where I check the pyramid, even though I know I'm gonna have the red crystals, and then I never check the red crystals. Like looking back on it,
yeah, we were screaming at you to go check the pyramid ferry. And then you actually went to the Bombos tablet and just faked us all out as well.
I've been voiced the bad thing too.
There may be some wonderful cursing going on. It really came down to, though, I mean, despite it all, the swords ended up, the Turtle Rock and Misery Mire dips actually helped you out in the end, with swords being what they were.
Yeah, I'm about to go look for the fourth one because there's only a couple places left for me here. It was probably on like shovel or something.
No.
Shovel was 50 or 300.
Powder.
Okay, yeah. The only places we have left that we don't know at this point, because Estragon has opened everything else between the two of you, it could be on the Ganon's Tower Big Chest, Tile Room, or Powder. That's it.
That sounds like fun. Let's check those.
And Powder is an interesting thing because we had the Cave of Samaria so early and the Mushroom, and neither of you guys fake powdered. So we have no idea what's there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I just ended up whenever I had the flute, I just turned that thing in because I feel bad if I don't. I feel like I'm gonna make a big mistake, not getting that done right away. I just learned how to do that trick the other day.
Oh, Chalice asking you if you want to take a peek where that sword is going to be.
I'm definitely going to find that.
Ooh, that should be exciting.
That'll
165 connection rate.
And that's with Ganon Tower Big Key being in like chest number 4. So there's a lot of Ganon's Tower we were able to skip.
I was happy to see where it was because, you know, I really did think this, like, the only chance I had really was that the swords were missing. And if they were on the left side, I figured it was up there on the left side, but apparently not. There it is. It's still on the powder. So that was out of Mire, I think.
No. Where was powder again? I know it's not in Maya because Estragon doesn't. Well, he already has it, and he didn't complete Maya.
Cannot remember.
But it completely slipped my mind as well where it was.
Powder was an ice palace, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Because we were talking about the powder right around that time, and wouldn't it be great to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember commentator's powder. Powder curse. No, gold sword. Wow. What a wonderful game this is.
Sure, we'll go with wonderful.
I'm thinking about how I can't even do Aghanim here at the end of the game with my fighter sword and no cape. And then the boots were the only thing left, and I'm like, I'm trying to make sure that that's actually true, that there's no way that he has one of my 2 missing items. Because I never checked the ledge.
Yeah, I believe it was only 50 rupees.
It was worthless. He did a check on that, I think, when he was only looking for Fire Rod at that point.
Yeah, both of you actually decided to immediately go to Kakariko in the beginning of the game. Do you have like any motives for
for skipping the lumberjack cave.
I feel like, I mean, this is a good example of a seed where it's just not worth the time at all to look, because if I don't have the boots, then there's no way it's anything, and if I ever do get them, it's not a long check to go look. I usually try and pair up looking in there with going up the mountain if I have the boots, but I didn't do that this time either. It just seems like I can save 30 seconds probably. Like, most of the time, it's not worth looking at, to me.
Fair enough.
I've skipped it a lot, and I can only remember once or twice where it's really backfired on me.
Yeah, it is quite rare to have something quite on that ledge, although it is still very much possible.
Those red crystals, though.
Oh yeah, that was an
continue to be-
amazing setup.
I continue to be destroyed by those and continue to undervalue them because that's not the only time this week where that's happened.
Well, hopefully you have learned your lesson from ignoring the Pyramid Fairy. Meanwhile, Estragon did manage to reclimb Ganon's tower. He actually mirrored out of the tower after checking the Mulderm chest.
Oh.
So
I mirrored out of Turtle Rock and then realized that I could kill the boss. And went back in, that was awful too. I just made a bunch of mistakes, I was getting nervous. You
yeah,
reminded
I'm curious about that. Like,
I got a sword and I got excited about it, and then I got ahead of myself a little bit.
Wow. To find out that Magic Bat had a sword upgrade.
The entire time, yeah.
That could have really turned this game upside down if either of you actually went for Powder Glitch. Wow.
I mean, we were both just screaming the entire time. It was an amazing scene to watch. I mean, coming down to the very end, knowing, okay, if there's a sword upgrade in Ganon's tower, then it becomes much closer. And then Estragon dipped out. He beat Moldorm, checked the last treasure chest, and then noped out instead of beating Aghanim. Which is a little bit confusing, but otherwise it's like, it was just so close and so much fun to watch, too, seeing such route divergence and how horrible seeds can go wrong.
I was thinking, after I died again, and how embarrassing it would be to take the time to get the red sword and then lose because of that. I was really worried that I screwed it up. I was sitting on that blue potion all game long.
Are you one of those people when you play RPGs, like you save all your elixirs in case you need them and then you never use them?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly had money to go refill on this one, but the red tunic and all that stuff, I didn't feel like I ever really should have used it. I used the green potions on them, just because I didn't like fighting some of those bosses with the fighter sword, but...
Yeah, Cult's one of the notable examples. You know, I think both of you actually burned your mana potion for the Cult Step fight. Oh, meanwhile, Estragon in the final phase of Ganon. Ooh! Ooh, that was really close to the ledge.
Oh, and taking a Ganon hug there.
Oh, he's going to use his blue potion.
Kind of out of rhythm right at the moment, unfortunately. Ooh, really close.
Oh, and there it goes. Estragon finishes off Ganon at long last. We'll be collecting his piece of the Triforce after this monolith of a race. Hopefully we'll get him in for a post-race interview as well, as he finishes with an official time of 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 56 whole seconds.
Yeah, that was absolutely one of the worst seeds ever.
Oh, and joining us, estragon. Wow, congratulations on completing that seed. That was a horrible, horrible seed.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. There was definitely things that I could have done better, but not spending 2 hours searching for a sword, I don't know if that was one of them.
Oh my!
So-
Do you know where the final sword ended up being? Besides pedestal and turtle rock, was on the magic bat, which both of you didn't perform the powder glitch.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that since I had the bat at the ready and then didn't do it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was really interesting because it was super back and forth. Let me kind of paint the picture. Smight was looking for his boots, which were on Pyramid Ferry. You were looking for your fire rod. You got the silvers. He never found the silvers because it was behind Bonk Rocks. As soon as you got fire rod, you were still looking for a sword. Smight ended up full clearing Turtle Rock and Misery Mire, and even pulled the pedestal, still looking for those boots.
Holy
and then,
cow.
so yeah, he had tempered sword, but he was silverless. So
Wow, okay. Yeah, I figured that I knew that I didn't really play great in the beginning. I had the depth to blind. My routing was not like superb or anything, so I figured I was behind. But yeah, that would cost you some time having to go through every dungeon.
It was fun though, going through every dungeon. I love doing it.
Yeah, no, that was a exciting seed.
Oh yeah,
So-
we had a lot of fun as well with this seed.
So I want to ask about your kind of routing there at the end, Estragon. You got up, beat Moldorm 2, opened the last treasure chest, and then noped out. Did you do that specifically so you wouldn't have to climb Death Mountain again and you can go right over to Turtle Rock? Or are you not aware that you can go ahead and defeat Aghanim with the fighter sword?
Yeah, I wasn't aware that you could defeat anything with the fire sword actually. And wow, yeah, okay. I guess that would have saved me some time. I was thinking when I mirrored out that I was going to go to Turtle Rock immediately because I figured the sword is always on Laser Bridge if you enter Ganon's Tower with a fighter sword. But no, it didn't actually play into my decision making. That was just an oversight.
Well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, not dying to blind with red mail is the other half of the battle, I think.
You could use the bug net, but it's that's much trickier than the other fight.
Yeah, no, my Agate 2 wasn't that great as it is, so Bugnet would have taken a little bit longer as well. Yeah, so I'm curious, Smight, did you go into GT as well in full clear, or did you have your sword already?
I had the tempered sword at that point. It's,
Oh, right, okay, because you were looking for boots, so
yeah.
yeah, wow.
Last thing I got was the boots way late. Like an hour and 50 something, I think, I got the boots.
Yeah, I think. Gee, when did I enter Ganon's Tower? Somewhere pre 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was right around like an hour. I mean, it was super close. I want to say something like an hour 50 or so.
Okay, makes sense.
I mean, here's the interesting thing is that you entered Ganon's Tower first. You had your 7 crystals. You entered. We found that early Ganon's Tower big key, and we're like, oh god, no. You kept clearing. We were kind of hoping you'd open the Ganon's Tower big treasure chest, but you didn't. It turns out to be nothing anyway. No big deal.
Oh, yeah, that's another oversight. I have never been in this situation before in an actual seed, and so I didn't even think to open the GT Big Chest.
So this was a race of firsts for you guys then.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen the swords do that before. I've had one be Aghanim locked and stuff. Ugh. But I've never seen. I guess we just missed powder. We could have had that one easily enough. That was the one that was missing, really.
Yeah, and the final eluding sword. Now, on that note, do you have anything else to add about the seed, or any more intricacies that you'd like to talk about?
I'm good, but thanks for having me. Thanks for commentating.
Yeah, nothing springs to mind, but thanks for sticking it out through a heck of a race.
Very welcome. Very glad to have him part of this race. Of course, huge shout out to both of these runners, estragon0 and Smight. Be sure to give both of them a follow, as well as our wonderful tracker Kirito5, keeping the tracker up to date and our mind straight as well, because we sure could not do it. And speaking of not being able to do it, I would not be here if it weren't for my fantastic co-commentator Vitasha. Thank you for joining me on this wild ride.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, Stan. One of my favorite people to commentate with, because we always have a great time doing this together. Big shout out to Stan as well, guys, here. Meanwhile, don't switch channels quite yet. I mean, if you want to, there is a race going on that just started about 20 minutes ago over on Speed Gaming 2. Ninjembro versus Raja like the Tiger. But right here in about a half hour, we're going to have Zyrak versus Felix. We have Sabatender and Slim Kirby on the mic for that one, so that's going to be a fun race to listen to. Also over on Speed Gaming 5, Number Play versus Genja, and Farain versus Spooty Biscuit on ALTTP Randomizer. A little bit later tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll have Flip versus Hippo over on Speed Gaming 4 as well. So still plenty of randomizer action going on tonight if you haven't quite gotten your fill yet.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's going to be a tough order, digesting another seed, because this sure was a stomach full of just everything that could have gone. Just went on. And I don't even have words for this seed. 175 collection rate on Estragon's side. That is enormous.
Yeah, I would say the best I could say about this seed is clear it from my hard drive as soon as possible. Get it out. I don't want it infecting it.
Yeah, just reformat your drive just to be sure.
I don't know. I kind of want to go back in and make a full clear now. Collect 216 out of 216.
Be my guest. I am going to leave the seed to rest as it has. Oh, it has probably taken my soul at this point. Wow. But with that, if you not have anything else to add, please feel free to do so. But that is going to do it for me for today. Thanks for having me on commentary, and thanks for running the game. And I'll see you next seed. Take care.
Yeah, we'll see everyone at the next match. Have a great one, guys.